Fellas, boys, folks, my sweet Yamcolites, I come to you hat in hand and to tell you that I think it finally happened. I think I finally am slowing down a little bit. I think the Yam is now a boring old fogey on his motorcycle. They said it would happen to me. They said it would happen to the best of us. But I honestly never thought that this would happen. So let me explain. A few months ago, I was out for a ride. And I caught myself flowing through a beautiful set of twisty roads. And I didn't feel like attacking them. You know, I felt like I just wanted to just ride, you know? I felt like I didn't have to trail in as much as I dared. I didn't feel like I needed to go wide open. I was like, oh, maybe I can open the throttle 50% and it's fine. And it was totally fine. And that's really weird for me. I've spent almost 10 years with every time I get on a motorcycle, not every time, I do ride on the street quite a bit, but most times I get on a bike, I'm just like, oh man, let me see what this thing can frickin' do, you know? I just want to romp on the machine like this. And just open it up, you know? But those times have been coming fewer and farther in between for me. And some of you might say, Yam, we know you had a kid. That's why you slowed down. Because everyone says that once you have a kid, you slow down. But honestly, this has been happening before my daughter was born. My daughter was born a few months ago at this point, when y'all watch this video. And it was happening even before my wife got pregnant, where I just felt like I didn't have anything I needed to prove, you know? I really got to the point where, you know, I'd been club racing, I'd reached kind of an expert level on track, and I'd usually end up on track as one of the faster guys on a track day. You know, granted, if there weren't some crazy, you know, Moto America top-level racer guys out there or whatever, but, you know, I could definitely hold my own on track, and I felt really good. And the thing about me is that I like novelty in experience, right? And going out to my same set of twisty roads here in Austin and attacking them and riding them as fast as I can, not as fast as I can, within reason on street. I would never tell you guys that I'm going as fast as I can on street, because that's just not true. But it just started getting a little boring, if I'm being totally honest. I just thought to myself, what's really the point? You know, I don't think I really need to do this as much anymore. I don't think I need to, you know, go quite as ham as I've been going. And it's true, I don't. I actually find that a novel experience for me is riding a motorcycle in calmness, you know, in a zen kind of way, and just enjoying what's going on with it, you know, rather than every time I swing a leg being like, yeah, let's see what the frickin' throttle can do. Let's see how hard I can brake. Let's get this thing leaned over. I'm just like, let me observe the scenery a little bit. And I really don't think I need a cruiser to do that. I think a lot of people equate that with like, oh, it's time for a Harley, it's time for a Goldwing. I really don't like how large those motorcycles are. They're so big, they're so heavy, they're so lumbering. What's the point, you know? Especially if you're not doing a transcontinental tour, really, what's the point? Honestly, what I've been really enjoying is the ultra small category. I've got this like itch right now to get a Grom or a mini bike and just like do little wheelies and just bomb around my local neighborhood and stuff. I don't really feel like I need such a powerful motorcycle anymore. And again, I really think that comes from a place of like, I don't have an ego about this anymore, man. I know what I'm about. I know that I'm a good motorcyclist. I have plenty of training and data to suggest that. I have many points of feedback from experienced and reputable people on bikes that say, yeah, you're a pretty good rider. So I feel good about it, you know? And I think when I was younger, I really wanted to prove to everyone and to myself all the time that I was good, and I was really freaking good, and I knew what I was doing, and I wanted to ride as best as possible. But I just don't feel that way as much anymore. And truthfully, man, I hope you guys don't crucify me for this, but I don't even have a track bike anymore. I actually sold my Daytona. I don't have a track bike anymore. The only bike I own is my desert sled. And I may get rid of that too, because I may be getting a new personal motorcycle. There's more to say about that in a little bit. You guys, I'm not sure when this video will go live versus when that'll happen, but there is possibly a new personal Yaemandu motorcycle coming to the stable. And those of you who have followed my absolutely ridiculous quest to find the perfect bike for me will see this bike and think, yep, that makes a lot of sense. That's exactly what you were looking for. And I'm glad you just leaned into it, you know, rather than fighting it. So I don't even own a track bike anymore. I don't own a Turbo Hayabusa anymore. I don't have, you know, 2 dirt bikes that are all hopped up and zooted up. I literally just have the desert sled, and I'm thinking about maybe getting a mini bike for myself. Or something that I could put my daughter into the wagon of, or a sidecar. That could be a lot of fun. But I think the thing that's happened is, you know, I've done, if you can believe it, over 100 track days. I've been on track over 100 times on 14 different racetracks. I've raced motorcycles, and in a way, I kind of felt like I've done everything I need to do with riding motorcycles on track. It was the strangest thing, because like I had at Eagles Canyon Raceway, I had my own garage, I had a membership. I was going out there basically twice a month, I think, at some point, sometimes 3 times a month, depending on if we were filming videos on track. And yeah, I was fully committed. You know, I was going out to race weekends, I had an endurance bike, I had a race bike, blah blah blah. But it just got to the point where I thought to myself, how many times do I need to keep doing this? You know, like I said, I like novelty and experience. I think human beings are programmed to seek out novelty. You know, if you get into a routine where you're doing the exact same thing week over week, day over day, you know, any of us starts getting antsy. And it sounds crazy, but getting on a motorcycle and going to a racetrack started to become extremely routine. It started to become like something that I didn't really want to do anymore. You know, loading up the bike on the truck and going out there and unloading and getting on track and doing the whole thing. I've just found that I have a lot more fun doing other stuff with motorcycles now, and that's okay. I think anyways. You guys let me know if you don't think it's okay, if you think I've, you know, really thrown away a core part of my identity. But that's the thing too, is people online especially, they'll put you in a box and they'll say, you're the sport bike guy, you're the go fast guy, and that's all you can ever be. You're the motorcycle guy, that's all you'll ever be. And I'm a whole human being. You know, I'm a complete person with, you know, many different goals, ambitions, dreams, even within motorcycling. Like, there's other stuff I want to do with bikes. For example, I've never taken a motorcycle riding it across the country. I've always trailered a bike to, you know, like New Mexico from Texas, so like a 15-hour drive. You know, the farthest I've gone on bike was my recent Big Bend trip that I did on the desert sled. That was the farthest I've gone on a motorcycle. And you guys might think, wow, that's really not that far. Like, you know, all of you like iron butt big touring kind of guys. I've never experienced that side of motorcycling, which is why I set up my desert sled to kind of do more long distance stuff, multi-day trips. You know, I think I'm ready to start doing the traveling thing. Now again, you might say, Yam, you're like this close to a Goldwing. You're this close to a BMW GS. Just get the frickin' Harley and call it a day. But some things are a bridge too far. I think I'd much rather travel on a middleweight adventure bike than a Goldwing, you know, because you never know. Maybe you want to experience a little gravel road, a little flavor of that. And so, yeah, I'm seeking novelty in my experiences with motorcycling these days. I think I want to get a mini bike and just start doing a little wheelie practice. I think I want to maybe get a baby bike for my daughter in a couple of years when she's a little bigger. She's literally a newborn, so she's not quite ready to, you know, jump on a motorcycle just yet, much to the chagrin of my wife. And I've really been enjoying this, you know. I've been enjoying getting on the bike and literally just taking it all in, like I'm doing right now. I'm on the 1009 SP, which is a really hopped up sport bike, right? I'm in 6th gear. I'm just looking around, you know, and I'm having the time of my life. And I think that by having such extensive training on track and being able to handle a motorcycle close to its limits, there is so much joy and just riding, you know, kind of slow, because I feel so ridiculously in control. You know, if I'm cruising at 45 or 50 miles an hour, nothing feels that scary or dangerous to me. You know, especially if you're cruising on a twisty road at, you know, that 3/10 kind of pace, man, you're so within check, and it feels really good to just be like, yeah, dude, I am so ridiculously in control of the situation right now. Whereas when you're racing and on track, there's lots of times where you're pushing the envelope, you're trying to get better, trying to improve, and so things can get a little dicey, and you're like, oh, that's exciting, you know, it's really exciting. But I found that it's been really, really exciting to not do that with motorcycling, and I've been having a lot of fun, you know. And I tell you guys this all the time, that motorcycling it's deep, it's varied, there's lots of different things you can do with it. And I guess I'm just living up to my own advice in that way. I'm really ready to try something really different with bikes and to just take it easy.
Time is running out to win the MT09 SP giveaway bike we have on yammynoob.co. September 13th is the very last day you have to get entered, so don't miss your chance to win. I highly recommend you become a member so you get access to all the benefits of our membership program, and you'll also get the ability to stack up your entries and apply them to our giveaway bikes. If you become a member now, you can get entered for the MT09 SP giveaway and then our next giveaway bike starting just a few days later. And trust me, it's a brand new bike that you're not going to want to miss because so many of you have been mentioning it in the comments. So go and check out the Yamaha MT09 SP giveaway on yammynoob.co, and don't miss your chance to get entered to win. September 13th is the very last day to get entered.
I think also the fact that I am a parent now does make a big difference. You know, I certainly, I mean, before I had a daughter, I would go out and, you know, I was married, and so I always told myself, like, hey, someone is relying on you to come back home, right? Especially, you know, our household, I'm the only earner. I'm a single income household. Very fortunate about that. But, you know, if something were to happen to me, my wife would have to figure out a job and all that. And now that I have a kid too, it's like, oh my God, you know, like, so the stakes really change for me now that I'm riding. The only thing that matters to me when I'm on my motorcycle out here cruising, hanging out with you guys, is to make it back home. Every single action I take is to make sure I come home safely. But because I am almost 32 years old, I feel like there are the demons still sometimes, you know? Sometimes the old squid demon rears its ugly head, and I will ride a little dumber than I should. And I think that's just something you have to accept with motorcycles, right? You have to accept that I feel like by their design and by the way that they operate and behave, you just end up being a little stupid with them sometimes, you know? I think when you're younger, the rate and the frequency at which you do those dumb things is way higher than when you're older, right? And when you're younger, let's say that 50% of the time you're doing dumb stuff on your bike, right? Let's say, look, conservatively, 50% of the time you're riding, you are doing some dumb stuff. The chances of you getting chopped up are way higher than if at 10% of the time you're doing dumb stuff. And consider the fact that, you know, when you're younger, if you don't have training, extensive, you know, track day training and schools and all that stuff, like I was when I was younger, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. You know, that's going to make it way more likely for you to get screwed up as well too. So consider if you're, you know, and maybe this is me just trying to justify riding like an idiot sometimes, but hear me out, you know, come on, hear me out. You've made it this far into the video, just hear me out. If you're doing dumb stuff 10% of the time, right, and you have training such that you're still operating within your limits, I think the risk is pretty heavily mitigated. Also considering the fact that you're wearing all the gear and all that, you know, like nowadays, if I'm out here riding, like on a serious longer ride like this, I pretty much always have an airbag suit on, and that's been a big change just in the last year of my riding. I started wearing an airbag middle of 23, this Alpine Stars Tech Air 5 that I have, and I'm not sponsored by Alpine Stars. Nobody paid me to say it. I just do it because I thought it was smart, and I wore that for 6 months before I even considered telling you guys to go out and get one for yourself, because I really do feel like it's a really nice safety net when you're out here riding, you know, like to have way more protection for your vital giblets right here in your core. your spine, your chest, your heart, your, you know, intestines, your sweet ghibli bits, right? The important stuff. I think it's really important to make sure that you have that kind of stuff covered, right? And that makes a big difference too. You know, not to say that I'm riding more dangerously because I'm wearing an airbag suit, but I think that having that extra layer of security and protection, it's nice, you know, it puts me at ease. It puts me at ease when I go out to ride thinking, okay, I have a really nice piece of safety equipment, you know, along with my helmet, my jacket, my boots, and all that stuff. Like, I am wearing really proper safety equipment to operate this machine. But yeah, man, like, perspectives change, dude. Like, I never thought that I'd be here, honestly. I thought that I would always do X, Y, and Z with motorcycling. I was like, I'm always going to be the track day fast guy. I'm always going to be the sport bike guy. And I've kind of branded myself as that on the internet, despite the fact that I ride my scrambler the vast majority of the time. Maybe that makes me a hypocrite. I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on that. But I think that I have enough breadth and experience with motorcycling that I can jump on any bike and really try to get what it's going for and in the category it's going for and render a verdict and opinion. But I think the bottom line is, as long as you're riding bikes, you're having a good time. It's crazy. Like, it doesn't matter really what bike you're riding. They're all freaking good, man. All these bikes are freaking good, and you have fun riding them. It's so sick. Like, it does not matter to me if I'm on an MT-09 SP or a Yamaha TTR. I'm having a blast. It doesn't, because I'm gonna find a way to have a blast, you know? On this bike, I'm gonna go out for a long street ride, pick up the throttle mid-corner, have some fun, maybe pop a little wheelie with it, just enjoy the thing, you know? And then if I'm on a baby bike, I'll go out and have some fun, you know? Maybe get into some shenanigans I shouldn't get into. Maybe dice up a little trail that I shouldn't be on or something like that, you know? It's just such a joy and a privilege to be able to ride bikes. And I was in a really gnarly accident when I was younger, such that I didn't know if I would ride again. That's how bad it was. And so that's also in my mind. You know, that accident was 7.5 years ago now. And, you know, it's to me such a privilege still that I get the chance to ride, that I get the chance to be out here enjoying a motorcycle and making a living doing it, man. I really can't complain with that either. It is so awesome that I get to have fun with these things and make a living doing it. So really thank you to everybody who watches and contributes and joins. I try to give back as much as possible, but that whole dimension to my motorcycle riding is so freaking sweet too. Yeah, man, like on a road like this, like you tell me you're not going to speed a little bit? You're not going to carry those brakes in just a little bit? Such a sweet bike. My goodness, I got a lot to say about this MT-09 as well. Alright boys, that's going to wrap up today's video, giving you guys a little insider peeks on to how I've really slowed down a little bit. I guess I am Papa Yam now. I'm your safety conscious motorcycling uncle or dad that never rides too fast, but occasionally will pop a wheelie here and there and drag some knee. And you know, it's kind of like when you were younger, you know, your dad might just like do something normally, and then all of a sudden he'd freaking whip out the random talent or ability that he has to do something like extremely well, and you're like, whoa, I had no idea he could do that. That's what I aspire to. I hope that one day my daughter sees me just driving around like a grandpa, and she's like, oh, Dad, you drive so slow. And then I just frickin' shred. And she's like, oh my God. That would make it a lot of fun. All right, boys, thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.
Well, that's it. That's the end of the video. And you might be saying, woo, what's that spicy little meatball right there next to you? This is the MT-09 SP. And in case you live under a rock, it's our newest giveaway bike, and I am ridiculously excited about it. This thing is the best, in my opinion. There's no better street bike. It's awesome. So head over to yamanoob.co, become a member, and get access to win this motorcycle. It could show up right there in your driveway. But as you sit there and debate which membership option is going to be right for you, click the link right over here and keep watching some sweet Yami Noob. We have thousands of videos, I think. 2,000? 1,500? We have a ton of videos. Go and check them out.